Hey guys, I wanted to push an addendum to the last video that I pushed up on the impossible, and many people said that Linux gaming was impossible. And here we are many years later, and we've got Steam and everything else. And it's just been remarkable. It's gotten so much better. For the longest time, about the only thing you had or things like Play on Linux and the like that. So you had to rely on this program that used Wine just to play games, and then you had like some other, maybe smaller games otherwise that you would play. So maybe you played like Super Tux Kart or Warmux or things like that, or Hedge Wars. And you had to rely on those open source games mostly as kind of like alternatives that were free and pretty good. But that was kind of your limit. Whereas now we've got Steam, we've got Proton. I mean, I've been streaming pretty exclusively from Linux for the last year. There was one where I was having audio issues. I did figure out the problem with that. It was my own idiocy. But we've got that. I've streamed my Summer Car, which is a Windows only game. Actually, the last stream that I did, as of this recording, was on Linux playing Halo under Proton, and it ran pretty well. And that was playing the Halo 2 through the parts of the Halo 2 campaign. You've got like Left 4 Dead that runs pretty well. Postal 2 has native on Linux. There are a lot of games that have Steam exclusive Linux native binaries. So they're like cross-platform in Steam alone. Whereas in like GOG, some of those games are only on Windows. So if I can kind of hello. No. So if I show you some of my games, you can see that. Oh, well, let's see. That one has Linux binary. That one has a Linux binary. EU2 has Windows only. There are some of these. Actually, let me find that one. I think that, yeah, see, so like Final Doom, Doom 2? Yeah, Doom 2, Final Doom, Blood Fresh Supply. It does have the 1 unit whole blood, which is the DOS version with the Linux binary that has DOSBox packaged with it. But you see some of these DOSBox ones that are Windows only, and they have no Linux binaries so that you can run it. But because they're DOS games, you can go to somewhere like Lutris, and if we look for Doom, for example, let's go Ultimate Doom, because, you know, that's a cool one that I have. So we can see that it uses ZDoom, or DOSBox, or, let's see, that's the Steam version using Proton. But you can see they've got a whole smattering of options. So they extract just the DOS game files out and use a native option for it. And Lutris even has the wine. Well, no, I talked about this already. But you look at the options that there are to make it easy to set up, and it's like, why is there an excuse? And I mean, it's like, well, I can still buy a Windows license for like 15 bucks, 10, 15 bucks. It's like, okay, that's cool. If you go to, let's see, if you go and check out Mudahar's stuff, Some Ordinary Gamers, he talks about his Arch Linux rig that he built, that he's gaming exclusively from Linux from, and he runs a VM to run like 1 or 2 Windows exclusive games on. and that's it. But other than that, he's pretty tight on that one. And the VM option gives you a lot too. So if you can dive deep in and configure your kernel, you can actually make those games that don't like VMs actually run pretty decently in a VM because you're tricking it to see it as bare hardware versus a virtual machine. And you can do that with Linux kernel compiled correctly. So when people talk about the impossible, Valve has kind of pushed us in a direction that makes the impossible possible, and many people have really gotten behind it and pulled it through. Be sure to check all the links in the description down below. Donate to Subscribe Star and that kind of thing. I will see you in the next one.